I'll just briefly tell a little bit background of Dr. John Mahoney. He is currently in Australia as part of a short-term placement at the University of Melbourne Centre for International Mental Health to assist with projects in Vietnam, West Africa and Sri Lanka. Once, he was the head of Mental Health and Social Care for the National Health Service, Department of Health, United Kingdom, as well as Chief Executive of the Northern Birmingham Mental Health NHS Trust. And since 2005, however, he is the United Kingdom's national counterpart for mental health at the World Health Organization, whose headquarters is located in Geneva, Switzerland. Among some of the many international experiences he's had in recent years were mental health response in Sri Lanka following the 2004 tsunami, coordinating the work of all UN agencies in the recovery phase, as well as developing a new national mental health policy, which was accepted and implemented in several districts. He also developed the first mental health strategy for the Palestinian Authority, signed by ministers of Gaza in 2004. In 2009, he reviewed progress on the 2005 to 2010 mental health strategy for the Palestinian Authority and Hamas-led government, Ministry of Health Gaza, and written the new strategy for the next 5 years, 2010 to 2015. Also in 2009, this time with the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, he assessed the mental health needs of the Palestinian diaspora in Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, West Bank and Gaza, in which the report was accepted in full by Commissioner General and top team or the UNRWA Cabinet on the 7th of December that year. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, respected elders, without further delay, please join me in welcoming Dr. John Mahoney.
Assalammu'alaikum. I'm delighted, I was delighted when Deanna asked me to speak because I can say that the years I've spent in Gaza are some of the most rewarding, and I've probably visited half the countries of the world, and I can honestly say without a shadow of a doubt the warmest welcome I ever get is in Gaza and the West Bank, is in Palestine. When I was first asked to go, I was really nervous. Being, I say I'm dual nationality, but being British, I thought, you know, I'd be in trouble. But all I can say is I've been warmly welcomed by just about everybody, apart from the Israelis. But the Palestinians have been wonderful. I'd also like to welcome a colleague who's at the university with us, Zainab from Pakistan. Is this the first time here? Or? First time here. And I'd like to thank my colleagues who work at the university for inviting me. I'm delighted. So, I first went to Palestine in 2002, partly because the World Health Organization was saying that there's severe distress in that community and mental illness, and there's no services. So I went there to help develop a mental health system, which we did throughout 2003, and it was accepted by the ministers in 2004. Many people said that the stigma associated with mental health problems would prevent people seeking treatment, but not at all. It hasn't happened that way at all. In Gaza alone now, there are 30,000 people who will be suffering from chronic depression or schizophrenia or other mental illnesses who are in treatment. But I'm not here to talk so much about, we can discuss, I'll give a talk and then we can discuss issues, but I'm not here so much to talk about what's happened in Gaza and the West Bank. We can talk about that, but I'm here to talk more about the resilience of the people in Gaza and the West Bank. They're incredibly resilient. I think if somebody built a wall around my city in Birmingham and stopped everything coming in and stopped medications and stopped essential materials coming through, I think we'd fall apart. But the people of Gaza and the West Bank, people of Palestine, They've been enormously resilient. I'm just going to show you a few slides. I can do it if you like. Yeah. Of Gaza. This is the Erez crossing. This used to be industry. This is one of these towers, Israeli towers. The wall just stretches all along there. This was industry and a vital income for Palestinian people. And it's all demolished. The sewage works has been demolished. The water system's been damaged. The Israelis will not allow materials to come into Gaza because they say it could be used by Hamas. So the sewage supply has leaked into the water supply, and there's serious problems with fresh water. And the basics of life. This was a factory, this has been destroyed. But what people are doing, and this gentleman here is going around collecting all the concrete, and they're actually making bricks because concrete is not allowed into Gaza. And very little by way of essential supplies. I mean, Israel will say it allows essential life-saving supplies to enter, but it doesn't. We know that essential medications quite often are just not available. But this is typical of Gaza. I want to tell you a little bit about the Gaza side you don't see. You know, traffic flows, people live in... this is typical of Gaza housing. Most of the year it's warm, a couple of months a year it's cold. But life goes on. Life continues. This is a school. This is the afternoon shift. There's so many young people and so few schools. They have to have a morning shift and an afternoon shift. But education to Palestinian people is vitally important, obviously. And Palestinian people are very well educated. This is run by UNRWA, UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. I was asked to work for them, and I had to look them up on Google. I hadn't heard about them, but they look after 5 million displaced Palestinians. In 1948, it was probably more like 800,000 people were displaced, were forced out of their homeland, and this agency was set up to look after them. That number is now 5 million people. So there's 5 million Palestinians who've left their home. And when I arrived to work in, my office is in East Jerusalem, I thought I'm going to try and be fair to both sides, and I'm going to try and understand both sides. But within weeks, you see the constant injustice, and I cannot see both sides. I can only see one side, which is the Palestinian side. Now, if somebody had said that 2,000 years ago they lived in my country and they wanted my country back, and the Europeans and the Americans and the British gave my country to another group of people whose claim was 2,000 years old, you know, I would fight to keep my own land. And that's all the